News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. There's your closing bell for this Tuesday on Wall Street, where traders held back from big bets on near-term Fed rate cuts. We do check numbers for you all day long here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 lost 16 points. NASDAQ gained 54 points. The Dow down 302 points. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.15%. The 2-year yield at 3.48%. Tesla shares gained nearly 3% to touch an all-time high. And Bitcoin is headed for its fourth annual decline in its history. Bitcoin now about 1.5% higher, hovering around $87,000. Warner Brothers Discovery is planning to reject Paramount Skydance's hostile takeover bid because of concerns about financing and other terms. Sources tell Bloomberg that after deliberating and reviewing the Paramount bid, the Warner Brothers board still views the company's existing agreement with Netflix as having greater value, certainty, and terms than Paramount's proposal. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles described Elon Musk as an avowed ketamine user and called Vice President J.D. Vance a conspiracy theorist in an interview with Vanity Fair. She criticized Attorney General Pam Bondi's handling of the files pertaining to the late financier Jeffrey Epstein, saying that she gave out binders full of nothingness and made claims about a client list that did not exist. Now, the White House has downplayed Wiles' remarks, and Wiles released a statement on X calling the Vanity Fair article a hit piece, claiming that the magazine disregarded significant context. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio briefed Senate lawmakers on the program of firing on and destroying boats that the Trump administration accused of carrying drugs to the U.S. Hegseth says they are meeting with more lawmakers tomorrow.
We're also going to tomorrow allow the HASC and SASC to see the unedited video of September 2nd, alongside with Admiral Bradley, who has done a fantastic job, has made all the right calls, and we're glad he'll be there to do it.
The two spoke briefly to the press after what Rubio said was their 22nd bipartisan meeting.
We'll continue to engage with Congress on this. We're headed to the House now to do a similar briefing and provide updates on this counter-drug mission.
The classified briefing comes as lawmakers look for ways to curb President Trump's authority to act without their approval. The November jobs report has been released. It was delayed for more than a week by the government shutdown. Non-farm payrolls rose 64,000. The unemployment rate also rose to 4.6%. Bloomberg's Michael McKee tells us this payrolls print also includes data for October.
Well, it looks like October was a really terrible month. 105,000 jobs total lost, and that 162,000 I mentioned was the total loss of government jobs in the month of October. We also lost jobs in construction.
Bloomberg's Mike McKee, acting chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, Pierre Yared, tells Bloomberg News the rising jobless rate is statistically insignificant and that inflation is renormalizing to historic ranges.
If you look at the unemployment rate, it's true that the unemployment rate did tick up. That uptick, though, is statistically insignificant. And if you dig into the numbers, it's entirely driven by re-entry into the labor force.
Pierre Yared is acting chair of the Council of Economic Advisors. The Trump administration threatened retaliation against the European Union in response to efforts to tax American tech companies. The U.S. is preparing an investigation that would allow the administration to impose trade remedies, including tariffs. The news sent Spotify to session lows. Spotify stock now little changed at the close. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic says policymakers should focus more on addressing inflation, with elevated price pressures expected to persist through most of next year. Bostic says he favors holding rates unchanged, and he recommended keeping them level through 2026. President Trump is reportedly set to interview Fed Governor Christopher Waller for Federal Reserve Chair tomorrow. Sources tell the Wall Street Journal Waller has become a leading internal advocate for rate cuts this year and is viewed favorably on Wall Street for his intellectually consistent arguments. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. This is Bloomberg.